I'm going to play a quick clip from Nathan Oakley's show. And the funny thing is, I knew about gas pressure without a container in grade 9 science. In order to have gas pressure, you must have a container to create the gas pressure. It must press upon something to create pressure. And we have atmospheric pressure. Atmo meaning air. And when you say sphere, you're presupposing sphere. You can't presuppose a sphere until you have evidence of a sphere. And you don't. You have pictures that are fake from a fake space, an origin that does not exist because it defies the law of entropy. The gas would fill the available space. There has to be a barrier, a container between the earth and a sky vacuum. Because that is what space is defined as, a vacuum. I don't understand what's so difficult for people to comprehend with this subject. I can talk about it to my 9-year-old boy, and he comprehends it. Going like this, talk to the hand, or fingers in the ears, that's the response of a 12-year-old child that doesn't want to listen to the truth. You cannot have gas pressure without a container. Let it sink in. Let it soak in. And gradient pressure is so unbelievably irrelevant, it doesn't even matter. For some reason, every time I bring up this subject, they have to talk about gradient pressure. So I'm going to slightly delve into this subject and answer the question that is irrelevant, because you cannot have gradient pressure without gas pressure in the first place. But let's go to the gradient pressure. The gases are forming on the ground level first, because that's where all the plant life is. Do you see trees at 35,000 feet, you fucking morons? Do you? When you're in a plane cruising at 35,000 feet, do you see a fucking plane? Do you see a tree in that fucking plane? Do you? Because I'm pretty sure that I don't. The gases are dissipating, but expanding in all directions into what's called a dynamic system. This is well documented. And it's real science, boys and girls. Real science. There is no space. Because in order for space to exist, the gas would fill the available space. In other words, all of the air on this earth would be gone. Think about the logic of a spinning ball. Use your common sense and pull your fucking head out of your ass and think about what you're saying, because the rest of the world is waking up to the truth. Why don't you?
Globe, you've got curve, you've got a physical sphere edge. No, you haven't. Black Swan debunks it. So we're told with a hand wave we don't have one. End of globe model. But further to that, we don't have any spin. There's no Coriolis deviation, even though that's the precise thing they claim they should have and would have and need to have, but don't have. So, last but not means least is gas pressure without a container. We haven't covered it in housekeeping yet. Is there any evidence, as it's a top three, that you can have gas pressure, i.e. gas pressing on stuff, without anything for it to press upon, i.e. a container, the necessary antecedent? So, given that they claim sky, vacuum, can you have that? Or is it definitely still a violation of the second law of thermodynamics, the entropy law?
It's not only that, Nathan, it's also mathematically impossible. How about that? You can't calculate gas pressure without incorporating the container within the calculation. Isn't that just amazing?
Yeah, the guy who's the scuba diver pointed that out with Boyle's law. He's like, well, when he was explaining how the sky can't be a vacuum to one of his scuba friends, he's like, well, you know about Boyle's law? And the guy's like, yeah, scuba diving 101, right? He's like, well, apply that to the gas that we have that we're breathing, and then take the volume to be the sky vacuum. How are you going to work out Boyle's law, given that you need a container to give you the inverse proportions of how much pressure you're going to have? So what are you going to do if you don't have the containment bit? Well, how do I calculate it? You don't. That's the answer. Correct, Darwin?
Yep. So yeah, when they say math is reality, you just have to remind them of this. It'll screw them over.